Hello, everyone, and thanks for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. I'm your host, Lorenzo Melcher, coming to you from PB Studios in my parents' basement that is currently covered in Halloween stuff everywhere. It looks like a Halloween exploded down here. My parents, or my mom and my sister, like to decorate for holidays, so it's transition period right now. So, but anyway, you can't see that anyway. So, I like to, every week I say, thank you for helping do whatever you can to help the podcast grow, like, share, subscribing, downloading to the podcast. Our YouTube page is almost 200, so if we can get to 200 subscribers, that'd be great. It doesn't cost you anything, maybe an extra notification here or there. So if you can go there and subscribe. Also, I learned that I have to be at 1,000 Instagram subscribers to be able to go live. For some reason, they changed it, so I can't go live anymore. But I'm only like 90 away from 1,000. So if you could like my personal page, just Coach Melcher on there, but also the podcast page. So, and if you didn't see last week, the 3 different dads came back. It was on the Nerdball feed, so check that out. And as always, if you want to be on the podcast, just reach us at the nerdballpodcast@gmail.com or search any of the social medias and contact us there. So that's it, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hi, I'm Justin Edgell, and this is the Nerdball Podcast.
This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
Perfect. All right, Justin, first of all, thanks for reaching out to come on the podcast. I love when people do that because it's I don't know, it makes me feel like people pay attention to it because I just assume people don't watch it. So,
no.
I texted you this morning like, hey, also it's video, just so you know, because some people don't know that either. So thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, no problem. No, I'm definitely more of the audio, just kind of turn on Apple Podcasts and as I'm driving around. So but I knew that you did the video too.
Yeah, well, awesome.
Yeah.
And that's just so people know, like if you reach out, there's a chance I'm going to have you on the podcast. It saves me work from like, all right, who should I try to find or whatever.
Yeah.
I had a friend at work. He's like, when am I coming on your podcast? And I think people want to come on sometimes, but they don't want to be the person like, hey, can I come on? Like, ask me. Like,
no, I get it. I totally felt it. Yeah.
yeah. But I like having conversation with people, and that's what this is. And some people like to listen to it, and we'll keep doing it. So
I enjoy it. It's kind of just relaxed. It's like the other day when you had the 2 of your friends on. It was just kind of like I was part of the group, just listening to you guys chat. It was cool.
That's I have a lot of friends that say that, so that's cool. That is good because that's what we try to do. Just nice and relaxed. That's good. Let's talk. So the first question I always ask people is, what is something you nerd out about? Something you're really into, get away from your daily job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's funny because I told my wife, I go, man, what do I nerd out about? And she's like, what do you not nerd out about? And then I had to leave the house, and like an hour later, she texted me weather. And I was like, weather? You want me to go on a podcast and talk about weather?
Hey, I'm for any nerd out at all.
I don't know. I mean, my big thing is sports, really.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's kind of an easy one, but I was the athletic director at St. Francis for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
I was a head wrestling coach out of Gibsonburg. I wrestled club wrestling at Bowling Green State, football, baseball, wrestling in high school. Like, it's just sports have kind of been my entire life. I mean, you got a Tom Landry poster up there. Yeah. My mom's from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Both my parents are from Texas.
Yeah. So we're big Dallas fans.
Okay.
And actually watching the Netflix special right now on the Cowboys.
I was listening to Bill Simmons, and he said, because he got the early screen, he said it was really good. I haven't watched it yet.
It is, but I told my wife, I go, I'm so mad with the organization right now that I don't want to watch it because I know it's going to give me my childhood nostalgia, and I'm going to fall in love with them again. And after I watched like the first 4 episodes, I looked there, I go, it's happening. I knew it. I called it.
You know what? It would just be, for me as a Cowboys fan, I would just be, I'll be grateful. I'm grateful for Jerry Jones because obviously I got to watch Super Bowls when I was younger. But there's a point where you're like, all right, let's just be done. Yeah. Or maybe not be general manager and have somebody else do some other things.
That's always my thing. I mean, when he took the GM from Tex Schramm way back, people thought it was crazy, and then hey, in 4 years we won a title, so and then won another. So it was like it worked out. But man, that was 30 years ago. Like, let it go. You're 80 plus. The game's moving fast. He's got all his kids. Let one of your sons take it over. Hire someone from the outside. Yeah, I just wish he would give up the GM.
Yeah, but I mean, we see it all the time. Those people in power just want to stay in power. They like the feeling. I guess,
I kind of wish he would cancel his radio podcast too, though.
He has a podcast.
He's got a radio show that he does, and I mean, like the stuff with like Parsons right now is like, will you just stop talking? Because they're saying opposite things. So right now, either I saw someone the other day on ESPN. They're like, either Jerry's lying or Mike is lying. Like someone's lying here. They can't both be true at the same time. So that's like,
that's frustrating. I had our head coach Dirk Connor asked, like, what do you think about this? I go, I'm so tired of it. I go, they're gonna sign him at some point, but it's just a pain right now. It's just annoying.
Yeah, it's gonna be Emmitt Smith. We're gonna wait till week 4 and then we'll sign him, and maybe we'll make a super run. I doubt it, but maybe.
And that's what Bill Simmons was saying too. Like it's playing out just like that. And I don't want to deal with that. Let's just play football.
I know. I wish.
So what we talked about football? Do you like baseball, basketball too?
Yeah, big baseball fan. I mean, I grew up a '90s Michael Jordan Bulls fan, but I just never really got into it too much. But, I have a best friend here in town, and he's a big Pistons fan. So since the Bulls have fallen off, I tried to, like, kind of get into the Pistons. Sorry, Chris. Just can't do it. But I follow the Cavs a little bit, especially after LeBron win the title and him being an Ohio guy. But really, wrestling's kind of my thing when it comes to the winter sports. But, yeah, love baseball. Big Guardians fan. Yeah. Thought we were going to make a run here, catch the Tigers. Got within 5 games, and now we just... Braves come in and sweep us. We go out west. We won 1 game. I think the season's over there.
Yeah, because I think the Tigers are back up maybe 10 or 11 games
Correct.
now.
Yeah, and even the wild card.
Yeah, I was getting excited about that too. Yeah. But that's every year, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, even last night in the top of the 8th, Hosey hits a 2-run homer or hits a double or triple or something, and we go up. And then I'm like, all right, we got this. I wake up this morning, check the score, we lost 4-3. I'm like, my God.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I try to tell my son, like, this is my entire childhood was this. Like, so close, and he was 3 in 2016 when they made the World Series, and I remember him coming down and go, like, I don't know if it was like the morning after or something. He goes, did we win the World Series? I'm like, no, because he was in bed. I'm like, no.
I've cried twice in sports, and both were when the Indians Guardians lost the World Series. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid and they lost to the Braves. I'm in my mom's room on the bed crying. She's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, the Indians lost. I don't know what it is about the baseball team, but yeah, my son was a newborn when they made the 16 run, and he had a Cleveland baseball onesie and the baseball glove, and was posting stuff trying to saying like he was our lucky charm type of thing. But
it was
that rain delay. Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Everyone always talks about that
rain delay.
I will tell you, when I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see Rajai Davis hit that home run to tie it, I always stop, but as soon as he hits it and then hits home plate, there's more to the clip, and I turn it off.
Yep, always.
But I remember, I'm sure you're well versed in it, being that he was a newborn, cheering in silence when things happen. Yeah. You just got your body is so animated, but nothing's coming out because you don't want to wake your kids up.
It's funny when they won the pennant to go to the World Series. My wife and I were driving, and my newborn in the back seat. It's dark. He's passed out. I go, I have to celebrate this. She's like, what? I pulled over. I'm in front of the car. I'm like jumping. She's videotaping me.
You don't get moments like that, and you want to be able to celebrate that kind of stuff. You know? So I mean, that's what's so great. And as my kids have gotten older, it's my son mostly, but my daughter likes sports too. But being able to do those things with him and see, I mean, you should have seen us when we're big Spurs fans when they got the number 1 pick to get Wembanyama. It's like they won the championship. We were hugging each other in the living room. And my wife's like, "What's going on?" I go, "We got the number 1 pick." I don't know what that means. But it's like to have someone like that, because that's how me and my dad were. My dad would take me to this bar, like a sports bar. It was great. It had like stadium style seating, and you had a table like this, and then at every table was a box, and you could tune it to whatever TV you wanted to listen to.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
It was called Arnie's, and we
Oh,
saw.
yeah.
We saw. That's where we saw. I think in '95 we saw them go to the. No, that would have been in '97 when they played the Marlins.
Yep.
We saw them go to the World Series. That's me, and everyone is. It's full of Cleveland fans there, so we're all excited. Yeah. That's where we saw the Spurs win their first title.
Oh, that was cool.
And it was me and my dad and his friend, and then everyone else was just silent. So like to be able to like have those moments, and so now I do that with my son, and unfortunately for us, like we haven't had titles, and I kind of rub it in his face like my life was riddled with titles. I was lucky, with the Spurs and the Cowboys, seeing the Indians in the World Series twice, even Texas Longhorns. I saw in the national championship, like all these things, and. So, but it is that aspect of which makes it better. It makes that better.
Well, I mean, I'm a big Buckeye fan, and so with the title this past year, my wife's like, "It's time for bed for the kids." I go, "No, it's not." I mean, you can, but I'm going to be yelling, and literally, I start cheering, and I tell the kids like, "Come downstairs, we're going to win the title." So the kids are like jumping with me in the living room, and then I FaceTime two of my friends, and one's in north of Detroit, one's in Pittsburgh, and they all have their families on at the same time. We're all screaming. Yeah, it's fun to have the kids involved and kind of share that passion. Yeah, it's really cool.
So you mentioned all these Ohio teams. Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I grew up in Springfield Township.
Okay.
Went to Springfield schools, and then attended St. Francis for high school. Went to Bowling Green State. So the only time I haven't lived in the Toledo area is after my wife and I got married. We moved to Columbus. She got a job with Ohio State Medical.
Okay.
And so we were down there for a little over 3 years, and then we moved right back. Yeah. So we've always been in Toledo.
When did you? You said you went to Springfield?
Yeah.
When did you graduate?
Well, I went to Springfield kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
So then I graduated from St. Francis, in 2005.
Okay. All right. I had a friend that went there. His name was Andrew Stanford. He was a football player.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I went to grade school with him. We went to Our Lady of Lourdes.
Got you. His younger brother was David was like 06.
Okay.
So or 07. Yeah. And then Stanford's still around a bit because he's EMT. So he would be football game day, EMT. Yeah. And
I saw, was that last year? Yeah, I think it was last year when we played St. Francis in the Glass Bowl. I saw him there, so I got to chat with him a little bit. Every once in a while I see him. I used to work at UTMC, and he'd be there sometimes. But he was I remember it was me and him because our 8th grade class there was 13 of us. We didn't have a lot of kids. Yeah. So we had to play football for Little Flower. But I remember our offensive line. It was me and him. We had another couple kids that ended up going to Central, like all these big kids that did really well in high school. It was cool. It was cool to see us.
No, I mean his senior year was my freshman year, so him and the Lachinas and forgetting a ton of others, but they won the state title in Division II in 2001, and so for me to start my high school career that way, and then seeing those guys walk in the hallway, they're like monsters, and Andrew's like the nicest guy, but as a freshman, he's like, oh my god, he's so scary looking, But it was cool. That was a cool way, and because we also won. I mean, typical St. Francis, we won a water polo state title. I think they've won 17 of those or something like that. Yeah,
I didn't even know that existed for high school.
Yeah, there's 20 some teams in the state of Ohio.
Okay,
yeah, so St. Francis won quite a few water polos, and I think we won tennis that year too. So we were 3 state titles my freshman year, this is sweet. And then, I know we had some success. I think the best was for my senior class was state runner-up in soccer.
Oh, okay.
And one of my best friends was on that team as well. So that was cool to drive down and do that. But, my big thing, like I said, I hurt my shoulder really bad playing baseball. So, I was kind of like this. I was kind of like the all-league quarterback in 8th grade playing lightweight football in West Toledo for the Springfield Cowboys, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then went to St. Francis and got a big reality check. Was immediate 4th-string quarterback, and then I busted my shoulder up pretty good. I did one more year of baseball and football, and then I decided, hey, let's do wrestling because that's the easiest on your shoulder, right? But that was kind of where my passion was. So,
have you wrestled since you were little?
I started in 6th grade.
Okay.
So I did like a camp in 6th grade because my brother was wrestling in high school and told my dad, like, I think I want to do that. So
Okay.
I started my first match was as a 7th grader, and I think I went like 6-13 that year as a 7th grader, and probably 3 of those were forfeit victories. Yeah. So I remember winning my very first match ever against Arbor Hills.
Yeah.
Cradled the kid and got the pin, and thought, wow, this is kind of easy. I got a rude awakening the rest of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, your life in the short span was full of reality checks.
Yeah.
I've never been a wrestler. I do enjoy watching it. Being a football coach, there's some football players that do it, and obviously Perrysburg has a top program in the state here. And
Yeah, I mean, Perrysburg had a really good program when I was coaching out at Gibsonburg. And then, I mean, Scotty Burnett came in and just really has amplified the program. I mean, they've been state runner-up 3-4 times in the last few years.
Yep.
And then, Marcus Blaze is kind of the diamond of the program and just graduated going to Penn State, which is the best program in the country, and just won another world title last weekend.
I saw that.
And he tech-falled everybody. It wasn't even close.
That's why I had I had wrestlers on here before, and I've had Brian, the assistant wrestling coach.
Yeah,
and,
I saw Brian last night.
Yeah, and I was talking because I don't know. I was like, they had to explain to me what tech fall was, and it sounded basically it's just like a mercy.
Yeah,
more or less.
Well, in folk style high school, if you go up by 15 or more points, then the match is over.
Yeah.
Kind of like football, if you're up by 30 at halftime, it's a running clock type of thing. But in
yeah.
wrestling, the match is over.
All right.
So in international, I think it's 10. If you're up by 10 points, then the match is over.
What you mentioned coaching a couple times too. What drew you so much to wrestling, or obviously your older brother started it, but what kept you just in there?
I don't know. I just it's weird too because I wasn't like the most physical kid, but I don't know, just that individual aspect of just you and somebody else in the middle of the mat, and you just kind of control your fate. It just really stuck with me, and I loved it, and I got the opportunity, like I said, to wrestle in college with Bowling Green State, which is a club program, but it was just the memories from that and traveling down. We went down to like Middle Tennessee State and won the duels down there.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I just really like the individual aspect of it, but then there's also this team feel too. And so it's just, as soon as I graduated high school, I went back to Springfield and coached for a year.
Okay.
My youngest brother was wrestling at the time, so that was kind of cool to be able to coach him.
Yeah.
And then got connected with Gibsonburg my sophomore year in college. Did junior high for a couple of years, then did a year of high school, and then graduated college and got hired as the head coach and a math teacher out there. So then I was the head coach for 4 years and won our first ever league titles, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And did like amplified the wrestling room, put these record boards up on the wall, and then my assistant became the head coach, and he just resigned at the end of last year. And he brought in girls wrestling to Gibsonburg, and they won another state. And under his tenure, Gibsonburg only had one state championship, and he had another boy that won a state title and a girl that won a state title. So it was just kind of cool. Like a little piece of me feels like, hey, that was a little bit of my legacy. That got left. So that was cool to be in Columbus too, and to see them do that. So just the community, the wrestling community as a whole is pretty cool.
It was never, like I said, never been my thing, but I know like how important it is,
Yeah.
how good wrestling can be for other sports. Like
Yep.
if wrestling isn't your main sport, you can, I've been trying to talk my son into wrestling for the past couple of years, and he won't, and which is fine. I'm not gonna make him do anything, but like he wants to play football in college, and I was like, these are the things that could help you, or even taking like yoga classes or some stretching and that kind of stuff.
The foot movement, the hand skills that you get.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like 1 out of every 3 like all pro offensive linemen are always like, yeah, I wrestled.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of skills that translate all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How was it? You started your coaching shortly after college, and you're coaching your brother, which that's how I started coaching. I was coaching my sister's softball team. I think I was like 19 or something.
Actually, that's how I was 16 and I was coaching my sister's softball team with my dad. Yeah, so that was my first coaching experience was CYO softball. Didn't have a lanyard, but
yeah, it was it was a good experience, and that's kind of was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah,
I like to do this. At first, it was like, well, they need someone. My sister's playing. I'm probably going to be there anyway.
Correct.
But that's kind of started it. So as you were doing more and more, and then get this head coaching job, is it like when you started coaching? Did you realize, or when did you realize, like, oh, I want to be in charge of a program?
I think. Going into college, I mean, my focus definitely was teaching, getting my teaching degree.
Yeah.
I knew early in high school that I wanted to be a teacher. Like most of my volunteer work was at a church tutoring kids in high school. And so I did a little bit of that as a kid too, because it was a single parent household. Like I had my dad and my stepmom and my two older brothers lived up in Washington local area, but then I spent most of my childhood with my mom and my two younger brothers, and so school wasn't the easiest for them, so I helped out with that a little bit, and I don't know, just like education was just always at some point in high school was like, yeah, I want to be a teacher. So then jumping into coaching at Springfield and then Gibsonburg, it was like, teaching, coaching, they kind of go hand in hand. And I think when I realized like I wanted to kind of take over a program or lead a program was when I was at Gibsonburg and just getting mentored by those guys, Steve Funk and Glenn Owens, which if you're not in Gibsonburg, you may not know those names. But those guys just really did a lot for me and just really gave me the belief that, hey, this program can be yours. You're going to be next in line. And so like I just hung on to everything that they said, and I had two other guys that were dads whose kids were excellent kids, excellent students and wrestlers, and they became my assistant coaches and helped mentor me as well. So I know I think the things just kind of fell in place out at Gibsonburg that I had people that pushed me in that direction, and it just kind of in my brain it made sense. Like I loved wrestling already, I loved sports, I loved leading kids towards their passions, their goals, and so it just all kind of worked out there in Gibsonburg. Yeah,
and sometimes people believing in you makes you believe in yourself.
Really, what it was,
too. Yeah. Because I mean, there's times where I remember when I first became the head freshman football coach almost 10 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, but you're nervous about it, and then you think like, okay, well, Coach Kriego wouldn't have asked if I want to do it if he didn't think I could do it. These other parents wouldn't, be talking to me about it, so it helps. And it was a struggle the first year, definitely.
Yeah,
and it helped. That I had Drew Sims that was his freshman class, and he's a phenomenal quarterback, and now a coach, and he was definitely someone that I leaned on. And it sounds funny, like, okay, this adult is leaning on this 14-year-old kid, but
I get it.
He knows what he's doing, and that's how I learned from my dad. Like you don't have to know everything about what you're doing. My dad was a baseball coach, and he would tell us, hey, I don't know a lot about baseball, but if you guys see some stuff, let me know, and we can do these things.
Oh, I get that 100%. I like I said, the two kids that I had, I started coaching them when they were in 7th grade, and then their fathers obviously were really involved, and I kind of leaned on the two of them as I'm growing, they're growing too, and so, I mean, I took those kids to Granby Camp in Virginia, and we went to, I mean, that was a unique experience to put 6-7 kids in a minivan and drive all the way down there through the mountains. But it was a great weekend, and those kids were awesome. I mean, when we weren't wrestling, they were playing like Dungeons and Dragons in their dorm room. Like I didn't have to worry about them at all. It was such a
that makes those trips easier.
It really was, yeah. But it was a great experience. Like you said, like people believed in me, and then leaning on a 14-year-old to kind of like help you a little bit, which was unique, but you're right. It was like a mutual relationship. And so it just kind of grew from there. And then my wife and I, like I said, we moved to Columbus, and
is that what basically got you, like you were done coaching, is because you guys moved?
Yeah, that okay. I did coach a little bit with Reynoldsburg softball. Was like their winter indoor head coach. Did that for a couple seasons. But then I joined this nonprofit that was called After School All Stars Ohio. Really took me out of my elements. Was working with inner city youth. And I know I wasn't coaching, but like just the internal growth and eyes wide open to a lifestyle that I wasn't familiar with, like it was an amazing experience. And there was still coaching because we offered, so it was a free after school program where we offered free meals and homework help, but then we did this enrichment stuff like STEM, art, athletics. And so we partnered with Ohio State, and we would coach kids on how to do lacrosse, basketball, soccer, football. And then in the summer, we did a overnight week-long camp at Ohio State where the kids stayed in the dorm. We got to run around at the horseshoe and do all these different things, and we would do more sports. So I got to work with kids, and then I also got to teach college kids how to work with kids.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was still coaching. It was still awesome.
Yeah.
And then came back, did that for another year, and kind of oversaw program quality in Toledo, Cleveland, and Columbus. And then, when you go to college, there's always like kind of like that dream job. When there's always a class, it's like where do you want to see yourself going?
Yeah.
And to be honest with me, like when I was a kid, St. Francis was never on my radar. I didn't even know that the University of Toledo existed until I was in like 7th or 8th grade and drove by it. You just, as your kid, you're kind of sheltered and you just kind of know your neighborhood. So eventually I went to St. Francis, like I said. And so as a college kid, I always thought it'd be like my dream job would go back and be the athletic director at St. Francis, just because that institution gave me so much. I wanted to give back. And it became available. A friend of mine that's 3 years older than me, he was the AD, became the principal. The position's open. Interviewed, got the job. I mean, to be in my early 30s and accomplish this like dream job was incredible, and it was pretty awesome. And so then now I'm coaching coaches, and that was a cool experience too. But that step away from the kids, it got to me after a little bit, and it was a lot. There was a lot to that job. To do it 5 years through COVID. Every Friday night, every Saturday morning, we had our second child during that 10-year. Like it became too much, and so that's why a little over 2 years ago I stepped away from being the AD, and now I'm in sporting goods sales. So I'm still in sports. I'm still working with coaches, but it's freed me up to now go back to coaching. So I'm a commissioner with Perrysburg Area Baseball Softball Commission, and I coach T-ball.
I've done that. I was a commissioner of a league too at some point. Yeah.
Last year my son decided he wanted to wrestle, so I was a biddy coach for Perrysburg Wrestling. Now he's doing cross country, so now I'm a assistant cross country coach with St. Rose. Like, I have a problem with not saying no. And then I have a friend whose wife works for Wood County Special Ed, and so the Wood County Special Olympics. They have sport partners, and so 3 years ago he and I became golf partners with Wood County Special Olympics. So every Monday I play golf with individual, and so sports are still way part of my life. But I couldn't do that before with St. Francis just because the job it required a lot, and a lot of that was time. I mean, I think the first thing I did when I left that job was delete the. Obviously, I got rid of Twitter. No longer had to tweet anymore, which was nice. But it was the communication app, because we had a communication app with every team. So even like the crew team that's leaving on a Saturday morning at 4:30 in the morning, and they're messaging each other, my phone's blowing up. So it was like the very first thing was like, delete this app. No more 24/7. Yeah.
And that's what's the hardest part, because I always think about, I think I would like, much like you, I think it would be fun to be an athletic director. It'd be good. And as I think about it, I was like, okay, my kids are getting older, so it would be easier, but it's still a lot of time. And I still, I have a wife that, let's say the kids are gone in college or somewhere else in jobs, and I'm still married. That's still part of the job, and so I think about it sometimes, and how fun it would be to do it, because I do, like you, I like sports, specifically at Perrysburg. Like I don't know if I would do it anywhere else, but I'm from here. I graduated from here. My kids go here. Like, this is where I would want to do it. What do you think the most difficult thing about being an AD was?
I mean, the time commitment was tough. I think for me specifically, I went in there knowing that there's going to be a hyper focus on the big sports, football, basketball. But I was always a small sport kid, like wrestling, and had friends that did cross country. And so I went in there like, all right, I know that I have to give this attention to football and basketball, but I want to give that equal amount of attention to all sports.
Yeah.
And I had a very good assistant athletic director, but he was a teacher half the day, and then he was the associate head coach for hockey, and they were really good, so it's hard to pull him away from that. Then he was the associate head coach for lacrosse. Again, they were really good. It's hard to pull away from that. So it was, for me as a professional, is trying to tell myself like I can't do everything, but in the back of my head, I'm saying I have to do it all, and trying to delegate responsibilities. And you delegate it, and someone doesn't do it quite how you thought it was going to be, and maybe it's still good enough, but in my head, I'm like, no, it's not right. So then I have to go do it, and then the next time I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to go do it myself. And so that became really hard, and just felt like I needed my hands in everything. And there's a great team at St. Francis, great support, and I might have a little bit overwhelmed myself. I think COVID kind of did that. It isolated everybody, and it felt like you had to do it yourself. But I think just the stresses of life got to me a little bit too, and just needed to take a step back. But it's a lot. It's a lot of communication. You're responsible with, the athletics is connected to everything. Academics, fundraising, student enrollment and marketing. And so, if you're the athletic director, you go to everything, and everyone wants your time. And so that was trying to figure out, how do I balance all that time while I also have a wife and 2 kids? And so I probably could have done it better. I
think everyone says, hindsight's always 20/20, right? You're like, oh, I could have done this, or could have done that, or, should have done this stuff. But, as long as you didn't get fired, then you're like, all right, well, I did a good enough job where I could leave, right? And that you left on good terms, and you had fun doing it, and all that is
definitely
at the end is like, okay, well, this is a good experience.
Still got a ton of great relationships there, and we won a hockey state championship while I was there, and my assistant AD will text me when one of the coaches that we hired does something, like the soccer program has been phenomenal. And that was a coach that we went through an extensive interview process and hired. And, and there were swings and misses. I felt like Gradkowski was a great hire, and he had a fantastic season and broke a lot of school records. And the XFL called, and he left, and that sucked.
Can I tell you, as coaches, we're like, all right, when he got hired, you're like, okay, that's cool. If anybody wants to be a head coach, they should be his assistant, because we just in the football community are like, there's no way he's gonna stay there long term.
Well, we initially didn't even know if we hired him in June and weren't even sure he was going to make it to August, because he was interviewing for positions with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the time. Oh. And so, once we got to August 1st, we're like, okay, we're good. We made it,
But even then, you're like, all right, you got to have like, all right, what's our backup plans? What's our, just in case, it's day 0, and you're like, sorry, I can't do it.
Correct. And we did have that individual on staff. Yeah. Which that's who took over the program the following June when Bruce had to leave and go to, St. Louis, I think is where he went. Hey, but now he's a quarterback coach with the Lions, right? Or somewhere in the NFL. Yeah. Like, hey, I hired that guy first. I gave him his start, though. But then we went through a long, extensive search and brought a guy in from Cleveland, and then I left before really his tenure started, and that didn't work out, which stinks, because you put a lot of time and effort into that, thinking you picked the right person, and so they weren't all home runs, but I think for the majority, we had some really good hires there, and like I said, we had the opportunity to coach coaches, which is cool.
Look, anytime you're in charge of hiring, whatever the job may be, you're gonna have misses. It's just the nature of it. You can only do so much interviewing or background checks, or even social media search. Like, you can only do so much of it, and at the end of the day, you're like, all right, this is who we're going with, and then you see how it works out.
Agreed.
So it's Hopefully you don't think about that too much because it is everybody goes through that.
No, I
right?
get it. Yeah, no. Like I said, kind of highlight the successes.
Yeah,
you know, and so Aaron, the water polo coach. I mean, his first year, Ohio Coach of the Year. They end up winning a state title. Soccer's had this great run. Hired my brother as the baseball coach. They made a regional final run last year. You know, that was probably an easy one to do.
I'd say how was that like? Because in the back of your mind, you still got to think like, all right, I'm hiring my brother. What does that look like on the outside?
Honestly, didn't think about that at all because St. Francis, including my brother, they've only had 3 head coaches for baseball over the last like 40 some years.
Okay.
And each was the previous coach's assistant. And so my brother graduated in 2000 and became an assistant coach 2001, right after he graduated. He even he went to Owens for turf management and worked for the Mud Hens and then got a job with the Richmond Braves for a summer.
Okay.
He went down to Richmond and did that for an entire summer and came back and didn't miss a season.
Oh, really?
He immediately finished up that season, transferred back to Toledo, became the head of grounds at St. Francis, and didn't miss a single baseball season. Wow. So he's been coaching there. So it was, for a guy that's been on the staff
that makes sense then,
since 2001, that was kind of an easy one. Yeah, and no one. There was a little bit from him. I'm like, I'm the coach, right? Like, we better not be doing interview process. I'm like, just give us time. We gotta celebrate Coach Gherkin that just left, and then we'll announce your hire. You're coming. It was good. But they're doing great stuff too, and then just to support the coaches that were there. Varga and Ransom, which are hockey and swimming, and some of the others. Like those guys were already great, and so I learned from watching them and. Yeah, but again, stepped out of it. Now I'm in sporting goods sales. But now, with the knowledge that I have, I've had meetings with coaches. Well, first off, I represent Bowling Green, or not Bowling Green, but Gibsonburg. I sell to Gibsonburg, and so the athletic director there was my colleague when I was there. So that's cool. Yeah. And other relationships that I have. But I have had a couple ADs that were like, "Hey, close the door. I got to talk to you. It's AD to AD." And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Kind of jokes with some friends, like I should be charging them like $20 an hour with these conversations. But I love it. I love to still be in that realm. Yeah. And then the ability to work with youth now is through my kids. Yeah. And so I'm enjoying that aspect of life too.
You mentioned your brother went to Owens. I went to Owens too for landscape turf grass management.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So shout out Chris Foley, who was on this podcast a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
The program ended though. I think this past year was the last year of
I didn't know that.
Program. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. We all got, he put a website up to sell shirts. So there's these shirts that say like LTM, and then it has it's like a RIP, like a little gravestone.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a great teacher, and I'm sure if you asked your brother about it, he would say the same.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Owens is a great institution. My wife got her degree from Owens.
Yeah.
And she's just kicking butt, man. Yeah. She's the breadwinner in the family. She took us to Columbus, and she got. And it was a job that even the HR didn't know about. They're like, we think you're qualified, but we don't know what the position is. Come down in an interview. And she's like, sure. And then she was like, hey, this holiday season was tough driving back and forth to Toledo. Our son was about to turn 1. She's like, I think I want to move back to Toledo. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And she's like, I'm going to start looking for jobs. Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, we got like 4, 5, 6 months. Like 3 weeks later, she's like, I found a job. We're ready to move back. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after she did that job for a few months, she was like, this is kind of boring. I'm going to find a new job. And like 3 weeks later, had a new job. And she's been with them for like 8 years now. Yeah.
Nice. So. Well, as someone who's been coaching and coached their kids for a long time, I can tell you our wives are probably similar where it's like, well, somebody has to have a quote unquote stable life where they're like, we know this is what's going to be here.
Yep.
And then we'll deal with sports afterwards.
Yeah.
But that's how my wife's been the same too. Like she is always like this morning. She's like, you got a podcast? I go, yeah. And so she's getting our daughter ready. We're going to Pemberville for a parade. She's going to throw a baton on the parade. So like all these things that I'm sure when you're out doing something with one of the other kids, there's got to be someone there at home to handle everything.
Correct.
Else,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she's a rock star. I mean, she works in neurosurgery, and she's told neurosurgeons, hey, what you're doing, like, so she does like GPS mapping for the brain to help remove tumors.
Wow. Okay.
And she's told a neurosurgeon before, like, hey, that's the wrong path. Like mid-surgery, like stop. We need to relook at this, maybe come from a different angle.
That's crazy.
And I was like, you told a neurosurgeon how to do his job? She's like, yeah, no big deal. I'm like, wow.
Well, and most people, especially her, like she's comfortable with that, and maybe not with every doctor, but there's some doctors who she knows, like, oh,
she's got the relationship built already that you can do that. Yeah, and that's the same with coaching. Like, you know, a lot of people complain about coaching, like you can't give the tough love that you used to see. You can, but you have to have the relationship with that kid in order to do that.
Yeah.
You can't day one kid you just first met and your spit come out of your mouth just giving it to him because he didn't touch the line. But no, if you've been coaching the kid and developed a relationship, and even if you have a relationship with the family, like typically, you can give the tough love. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I mean, same in the workplace. So she's able to do that.
Yeah, I had my buddy Scott Bucher. He's been on several times, and he talked. I can't remember who he mentioned that said this, but it's filling up that emotional bank account.
Correct.
So when you do have to get on someone, when you're making a withdrawal, there's plenty of
not a negative balance.
Yeah, there's plenty of money in there for that, you know, and that happens all the time. I think you're right. Like people don't know that, like. No, there's just not. The coaches aren't cupcakes. It's just you don't see it because whatever happens on the field, the kids understand, and then to them it's not a big deal. At the moment, you're like, oh, I'm getting yelled at because I did mess up.
Yep.
You know, and then they're off doing the next thing. Or whatever, you know.
And every kid's different. I mean, we used to live by the motto at All Stars of like, every kid can be reached, but not every adult can reach every kid. Like. Yeah, you and I might be able to connect, but that doesn't mean I can connect with him. Maybe a different adult is able to connect with that kid. So, yeah, and you know, social norms are different too. Yeah. You know, I mentioned Steve Funk. People used to tell stories about him. One duel match, he blew up on a kid, picked him up, put him up against a locker. Like, yeah, I probably can't do that now. You know?
Yeah. I don't think you get away with that one.
No, but you know, I'm pretty calm in nature, but I had my moments and. But again, the relationship was there that I was able to do that.
So. Well, I had a moment in practice where we ran like 4 plays in a row, and every one of them was wrong. I blew up, I yelled, I hurt my throat, and my wife was like, at the end she goes, "But you talked to him at the end, right?" You like I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I know you would." Like because at the end of it, practice, everyone's calm, like, all right. And sometimes I'm like, "Look, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry I did that."
Correct.
But here's where we are going forward.
Whatever, you can't just stomp them down and leave them into pieces and walk away. But
wait a minute.
Pick yourself up. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I mean you gotta circle back, and apologizing is huge, especially for male athletes to hear another male say, "Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. I probably didn't have to go to that level." Like that's big. That's such a great coaching moment right there.
Yeah. It's a. I mean. Immediately after, and I'm sure you deal with this kids too, your own kids, when you say something, you're like, "Oh, I'm the worst parent in the world." and it could be such a small thing, but you're like, "Well, this is what happened, and I'm sorry, and here we go." You know?
Yeah, I mean, kids bring a lot out of you, and I mean, I'm not scared to say it. I mean, they challenge your mental health sometimes too, and like you said, they make you doubt yourself, and I see a professional from time to time, the kind of someone I can talk to, and to talk through that. And a lot of it is the relationship with my kids of like, there's a situation, but just want to be the best parent that you can be, or the best coach, or whatever it might be. So
well, we've got this far, and I obviously I don't want to leave without talking about your running for city council. So I don't know, and you don't have to name them. I know we had the primary. And now it's down to 4 of you? I can't remember.
Correct. There was a primary for city council because Perrysburg law stated Perrysburg election laws state that if there's a primary for the mayor or council, then both have to be primaried.
Oh, okay.
So really, city council, we did not need a primary because if we had 7 or more, we would have to elect it down to 6, but we only have 4 candidates.
Oh, okay.
So people did vote for us, but they could have voted for all 4 of us and 2 write-ins if they wanted.
Okay. So it was you had to do it, but you all knew it was.
We knew, all 4 of us knew we were moving on. Okay. Where on the mayor's side, there were 3 candidates for mayor, and 2 of them moved on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what has this process been like for you? Before you answer that, why did you decide, like, hey, I want to run for city council?
Yeah. Again, motivation is kids and teaching background, and our community doesn't seem to have an appetite for levies right now, which I completely understand. Things are really expensive, and so to be asking households to give more money is tough. But when the cuts came through, and I understand them, but then they impact your child, my child, I got pissed off about it.
Sure.
And so kind of like was talking to people and looking into it. And really, as a school board member, the only way they can raise money is to ask for another levy. Like they're just handcuffed. That's what they can do. So I have a friend that I graduated college with that's on council, and kind of picked his brain and talked to some other county leaders and said, hey, maybe I can make a difference on city council and help the schools that way. And there's not this magic wand that city council can just wave and the school gets full funding. But we are a high residential neighborhood. Like people want to live in Perrysburg. We're a destination place. We got the river. We have amazing downtown, uptown, for anyone that calls it uptown. Sorry. The schools themselves and what's been built there, like people might be working in Rossford or working in Findlay, but they live in Perrysburg. But now it's come a time where we rely so much on real estate tax and income tax that we don't have that balance of diversified tax base, and we need more industry in Perrysburg. So my goal, like deciding to run, was, well, I want to help with that. I want to help bring businesses to Perrysburg, and for a long time, Perrysburg admin always kind of said, we can do it our way. We don't need the county. We don't need the township. We're Perrysburg. We'll figure it out. And this current council, that mindset, and the current mayor, that mindset's kind of changed. We are much more working with our neighbors, and I think it continues to need to amplify. Like, people should know that there's 2 townships that feed into our school district, Middleton and Perrysburg Township, plus the city. And we should be working with them. And unfortunately, the relationship used to be so bad that they took us to court so that we couldn't annex any land from them anymore. And so there's this 99-year agreement with Perrysburg Township, 50-year agreement with Middleton that, we can't take their land. And so we need to mend those relationships, keep working with them, and work with the county. I know there's certain things that the county can offer from coming up from Columbus on the state side of, like, hey, that maybe there is a business interested in Perrysburg, and they go to the county first, and they're like Perrysburg just isn't an option because we haven't been working with them. And so that's kind of changing finally. And I just want to be a catalyst to keep building on that and keep changing that. Yeah. So if we can get more businesses here 5, 10, 15 years down the road, the school should be financially in a much better place. And hopefully people keep challenging what's happening in Columbus, and there is a new way to fund schools appropriately, and it's not all on homeowners trying to foot the bill. So.
And I think that's what people don't get or don't understand as much, is that we, Perrysburg schools, that this is how we get our money.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing we can do about it. To be better, run it, like all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. But even now, the schools lost more money. Yeah. Like it's a constant uphill battle.
Yeah.
And we do require, our citizens here to help us, because this is the only way we have.
Correct. You have a little spider that's crawling down on your face here. Sorry.
Oh yeah, look at that. Thanks for telling me. Come here.
Where'd he go? Yeah. You just wanted to get a closer listen. Really interested in school funding. Yeah. Yeah. There's a formula in place called the Fair School Funding Act. But unfortunately, it hasn't been fully implemented. Even though it was agreed to in terms of this is how we're going to fund our public schools, it hasn't been agreed to.
Which is so wild to me.
Correct. I mean, our Ohio Supreme Court has deemed over and over again that our school funding formula, or how we fund schools currently, is unconstitutional. Yeah. But our representatives haven't done anything about it. Yeah. And I'd be very clear, I am very much for school choice. I think again, if, as I mentioned about every adult or every kid can be reached, but not every adult can reach every kid, I believe that's the same for schools. Like Perrysburg might not be the right place for everybody. And so St. Rose is an option, or some of these other private or charter schools may be appropriate options for them. But I also don't believe that everyone should just be getting dollars to go wherever. And
if you have your choice and you want to go to St. Rose, okay, go to St. Rose, pay for it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I understand it's my tax money. The tax dollars follow the kids. I hear that argument, but that's not true when Perrysburg gets $1,600 per kid. Mm-hmm. That's it, like $1,700 per kid. That's what they get. And I might be off a little bit on that number, but my kid, they get that money. High school kid, they get that money. That's it. Yep. But if I decide to send my kid to St. Rose, for example, or even St. Francis in high school, I mean, I get $6,000, $7,000 to go to, like, that's not the tax money following the kids. And that's disproportional. And so we're stealing money, in my opinion. We're stealing money from our public schools. And I think you have to have a strong public school to have a strong community and a strong city. And majority of kids go to public schools. So that's your worker base. Like, that's where the kids are coming from. Yeah. So again, we have fantastic non-public options in Northwest Ohio, but we have to make sure that our public schools are still fully funded and they're excellent, because the majority of our kids go to public schools. Mm-hmm. So we can't rip the funding away from them. Yeah, so that's where this campaign started. But I've met with state reps, I've met with state school board members, I've met with almost every single council member, the mayor, the head of almost every department in the city of Perrysburg. Like, I'm just trying to educate myself and learn as much as I can as quickly as possible. And so really this campaign has changed, and I'm sure if you follow my Facebook page, selfless plug, Justin Edgell for Perrysburg City Council.
That's right. I'll put stuff in the show
Got
notes,
it. Yeah.
links for him. Yeah.
It's turned into like a quality of life. Like, my wife and I have developed a fantastic life here in Perrysburg. We actually got married at St. Rose knowing nothing about Perrysburg. We just kind of fell in love with the church. It's a beautiful church, and we wanted that setting. But because of that, we then lived in the township for a year before we went to Columbus. When we came back, our realtor that we connected with was like, "Where do you want to live?" We literally circled the neighborhood, the Boundary Street neighborhood, and said, "Find a house there." Yeah. He's like trying to say, "Well, you can get more space for your money in Waterville or Springfield Township." Yeah. And we're like, "Nope, right here. You have to find a house right here." Because you can walk to the parks, we can walk to the church, we can walk downtown, the ice cream shop, all of this. So, like, no, that's the life we want. And we did find a house within that circle, thankfully. And so our life, we love our life here, and we want to make it accessible to as many people as possible. And so that's kind of like what I said, like, this campaign has turned into of things are great in Perrysburg, let's amplify them. Yeah. And part of that is, yes, our school system is fantastic, but it does need to be, I don't want it to slip. I don't want it to go backwards. Mm-hmm. And when we start cutting things from our kids, I feel like that's a back step. And so I want to bring those things back. I want to amplify it, and in the process, we'll amplify the opportunities for people that don't go to Perrysburg schools but live in Perrysburg. So, yeah, this whole thing is just, we love Perrysburg. Let's make it the best that we can for everybody that's possible. People want to live here, so let's tell them how great it is and make sure that they're utilizing everything that our community has to offer.
What have you found in your campaigning? What has been the hardest thing? Like, whether even if it's like the campaign itself, running that kind of stuff, or having to reach out to people, talk to people, or what is the most difficult thing?
Yeah, well, it's time again.
Always.
Full-time job, full-time dad, full-time husband, and then all the volunteer stuff that just I want to do, things that I was doing way before this campaign ever announced. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, let's do a campaign that also takes 20 plus hours a week of your time. So my wife and I alternate bedtime with the kids. So when it's not my night to do bedtime, I'm up for an additional 3 hours or so, working till 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's just all campaign stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's my social media posts and planning things ahead. That's creating the palm cards, the informational pieces. It's coming up with ideas of doing like mini footballs.
My daughter had one of
those. For yesterday's game.
You know, it's so funny to me when I saw those that because I had another candidate, Aaron O'Rear, on here, and I told her, I said about merch, I go, anything you can get put on a ball is money, because the kids are going to take it, and the kids don't care.
No.
But you know that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to end up in your house, in the house somewhere.
Correct.
And someone's going to see that. I'm like, oh, and maybe there's, 10% of people that go to your Facebook page from it, or whatever that case may be. But I told her, I was like, put it on a ball, because that's what's going to get it.
But my fear was, I had several friends and family that helped me out yesterday passing out the footballs before the game, and then we all had our kids. So there were like 7 little kids. So we kept saying, like, give it to adults. Because my fear was this morning I was going to get a firmly worded email from the district about balls being thrown on the field.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't see any that got thrown on the field. So I'm hoping that we're okay there. Yeah.
My daughter came right up to me when I saw her, and I didn't even look at the name. She was like, I got a football. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I was off doing what I had to do for the game, and I didn't even realize it had your name on it.
Yeah.
But again, it's whatever happened, it got handed to an adult and then immediately got handed to a kid. Like, here you go.
Correct.
But as long as you got away without any.
Yeah, and we passed out 250 plus footballs yesterday, and had a lot of conversations. And then the homecoming parade is the 20th, and I held off another 100 footballs for the homecoming parade.
Nice. Yeah.
So. I get it.
That's the thing. That's what you need. You need throwables.
Yes. Yeah.
Or candy, I guess.
Yeah.
Candy's good attached to a flyer. But what have you? Has your wife said about this? Like from the beginning, like, hey, I'm going to do this. Well, I'm assuming she's much like my wife, when just follows all my crazy schemes. But like,
I mean, so back in like November, December, it was being talked about, and then someone kind of introduced me to someone else. Is like, yeah, this is a council candidate, and I like looked at him like, what are you talking about? And so I went home and said something to my wife, and she's like, well, yeah, duh. And so she kind of like, yes, you're doing it. You can't,
Well, another time where someone believes in you.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, I try to stay up to date. I mean, the political atmosphere right now is difficult, and we are being pitted against each other, which is not fair. I hate that you have to pick Team Red or Team Blue. It's just not, as humans, how we function. But I do kind of stay up to date on what's happening in Toledo, Columbus, DC, and so yeah, I've attended rallies and advocated for human rights and things like that. And so my wife is like, look, you've been doing this, just go make it official. And I remember too, like graduating college and interviewing for teaching jobs, and they'd be like, hey, what's your 10, 20, 30-year plan? And that 30-year plan, I'd always say, like, I think I want to get involved in politics. I think I want to be a servant to the people, be a community leader. And so, yeah, I mean, here we are. It's coming to fruition, so that's cool.
Yeah, I always thought about that too. And I live in a township, but to me, the township stuff seems boring to me. I don't know why. But I someone asked me, he's like, would you want to be president? I said, I would love to be president. Like that, I would love to do that. For whatever reason, I like that kind of stuff. And same thing, like helping however I can help. Sometimes you feel helpless when things are happening. Like, well, it's out of my control. I can't do that. So that's where the coaching comes in. Like I can do this part of it, and I can teach kids not only how to play football or throw a shot put or throw a softball, but also how to be better humans. And hopefully that you are same thing with city council, like trying to help the city and help the residents.
100%. A few months back, there was a council member that was talking about. Someone called him about, I can't remember, maybe it was a animal control issue, or I'm not, that might not have been, it was something else. But like the next day, he's like, he went to their house and investigated himself, and then contacted the right department within the city, and within 48 hours, it was corrected. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be that person, because it is tough to go through the website or to call City Hall and figure out, I don't know who I need to talk to. But as a council member, here's my phone number. If you got an issue, give me a call and I'll be there and I'll check it out. I think like that's just kind of how I've always operated, whether I'm teaching or coaching or friends, family, whatever it is. I mean, if you call me, I'm going to be there. And so I'm just going to transition that to city council and do it for the 20,000 plus people that live here in our city.
And let's say everything works out for you, get elected. What's you mentioned 5, 10, 20-year plans. What is your plan with this?
4 years on council. We'll start there and then run for re-election and just see. I have been asked this a couple of times. Like, I really, it would be cool to campaign and maybe get elected and represent the state of Ohio and go down to Columbus, but I'm so far from that right now. Sure. My focus right now is 100% Perrysburg, get elected, and if I am elected, to give Perrysburg everything that I can offer and make it, like I said, just amplify what we already have here. And then we'll see what doors open from there. But that is this tiny little goal in the back of my head, but that's not what I'm pursuing right now. So.
How many get elected?
So there's 4 candidates for 3 seats.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
And so, as you mentioned, Aaron is one of those candidates, myself, Brad, and then Kevin. And Kevin's the only one, he's currently on council. So the other 3 of us are all new to this.
Okay.
Yep. And then there's 2 mayor candidates, Aaron and Mark. Mark's currently on council, has served several times on council, and now he's pursuing mayor, and Aaron's a first-time candidate.
Yeah, I see Mark all the time. I went to school with his kids, and so I see him all over the place. And I was trying to get him on the podcast to talk about that book he wrote about Perrysburg.
I bought it. I've read it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have it. I thumbed through it, and then I was like, well, let me go through it fully so I can have things I want to talk about stuff or whatever, and it's just never happened. But I like Mark. He was always a nice guy. He's always nice talking.
Yeah, really
to
nice guy.
Yeah.
Knows so much, and he's a Perrysburg lifer.
Yep. Yeah. Well, before we go, I just want to give you. I know we've had this hour, the past 20 minutes talking about your run for city council. But is there anything else you want to let people know about or talk?
Yeah, I mean, again, we've talked a lot about like kind of my involvement in various different things. I mean, again, we love Perrysburg, and I just want to make it the best that I can and do that from the city council perspective. I'm willing to talk to whoever. There's some people on Facebook that were like, give me a call, I need to talk to you. And I called, and we didn't connect on the call, but there's not a conversation that I'm not scared of. I may not know the answer. There's no way I'm going to know everything. And I'm definitely not the person that like walks in a room is like, look at me, I have the solution. I'm more of a listen and learn and then respond appropriately. So if people have questions, I might not know, but I'm going to go find the answer for you. And I've done that a couple times too, with our very fun Perrysburg Facebook pages that we have. Some people have posed some questions, and so I went and asked the mayor or city council, hey, why is this? And they gave me an answer, and then I posted it back online and let people know. That's how I kind of operate. Yeah. So, I mean, again, thank you for the opportunity to come on here and kind of present myself to everybody.
I think this is a unique, and maybe the other candidates want to come on, or maybe not, I don't know. But I think it's unique because, yes, I'm asking you about why you're doing this, and but also I think it's important to whatever you want people to know about you. I think that's important too. Like, it's one thing like, okay, where's Justin on this issue and this issue? Yeah. But some people want to know more personable stuff, and you don't always have an hour to sit with one person, so hopefully this can get out to people.
I feel like that's kind of what's missing is in the political climate. There's the candidates typically are so far away from us that we are forced to just look at the list. Where are you on this issue, this issue? All right, now I got to pick. And I kind of like it when you get an opportunity to read a bio or hear someone talk, and you're like, oh, they sound like a cool person. Like I might have a drink with them. Yeah, that's someone I might vote for. So I don't know. If people want to have a drink with me, sure, go ahead, let's do it. Yeah, there's plenty of great places in Perrysburg to have a drink.
Well, Justin, again, I appreciate you reaching out because again, it makes me feel like, all right, I'm doing something somebody likes or people like, and I say it all the time where this podcast costs me money, so it's fun to when people are like, I'll come on, I want to come on and talk to you or whatever. So I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you coming out here and
let's get you to 1,000 so we can get you back live on.
I know
on Insta. Yeah, I
had so much fun when I did my things I learned live because I could interact a little bit whenever people were doing it, and then I was all ready to go on another one. I'm like, oh, I was so disappointed. I don't know what happened.
They must have changed it again because I know early on in this, back in like March, Erin tried to go live on hers, and she learned, oh, I have to have like 100 followers or something like that. Yeah, so it sounds like the numbers are changing, which that's social media. I've been trying to do advertisements on Facebook, and it's like people are like, "Oh, you just have to do this." I'm like, "No, I did that. Now I have to do more steps." And like it changes all the time.
Yeah.
It's not easy trying to get out there and meet people, but yeah. I mean, the next couple of months it's going to be door to door, and maybe another mini fundraiser meet and greet, and obviously homecoming parade's coming up. Tonight my wife and I will be at Rock the Docks down at the boathouse. So
well, good. Well, I will put any links you want me to put in the show notes, just text them to me, so I'll put them in there.
No problem. Websites, justinedgell.com, the Facebook page.
It'll all be there, people can click. So thanks for coming out here.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. If you want to reach out or be on the show, just search the Nerdball Podcast on any social media. If you want to email us, that is thenerdballpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always YouTube, so you can go on there, subscribe to the Nerdball Podcast, and watch the podcast every week. As always, thanks to Real JP Multimedia, Cuddlefish Graphics, Big Daddy Graphics, and Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab for always supporting the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.